Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm your host, Tomás Garza, and I hope that you've had a beautiful weekend here. And thank you very much for joining me today. Now, I want to say a couple of words before I launch into the topic for today. And on Mondays, here. I have not actually done a live stream on a Monday because my wife Cindy and I have been either on the road. We just completed a 2-week road trip to Oregon. And if you're not from North America, that's in the northwestern part of the United States. We live in Arizona. So it's a couple thousand kilometers worth of driving. And we've been on the road. We've been seeing friends and family and just enjoying ourselves. But prior to this, on Mondays for the last few months, I have been doing a special show that I'm calling a special focus of the day, which is applying the attitude and the ideas of the thought system of A Course in Miracles to everyday life. Now, I do that every day, of course, but I do that in the context of the workbook for students, which, as you may know, is numerical from lesson 1 to lesson 365. Well, that's part of the reason behind the title, Awakening to Love, right? And A Course in Miracles 365, is because it never stops. And as you will see here in the notes in the show description, the spiritual path is, in fact, life itself. So it never stops. Anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in here. And I know a number of you have commented on my Facebook page, actually, in the last 24 hours on some pictures from a hike that Cindy and I took yesterday in Sedona, which is a very, very beautiful place. I know a number of you have been there. And if you have not, you may be familiar with it. It's only about an hour and 50 minutes away from our house here in Phoenix. So every now and then we just get in the car, especially on a Sunday, which is our hike day, and get up there and drive. So we've really, really been trying to do that as much as we possibly can. And it's several degrees cooler up there because the elevation is higher. So we did that yesterday. And I know a number of you have chimed in on the comment thread there on my personal Facebook page. Beautiful pictures. If you've never been there, you should go. Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it. Great hikes. Really, really a beautiful location. And that's here in Arizona. So as we give people a few moments here to hop on the feed, I want to thank all of you for watching and for tuning in. And of course, thank you for all of the shares of this page. We at the network really, really do appreciate that because this is about creating a global spiritual community. And if you know people that would benefit from this and any other live stream here on the network, definitely hit that share button. Yeah, we invite and encourage you to do that. Comments are more than welcome. This, again, is a place to create community and dialogue. And in my experience, a spiritual practice should raise as many questions as it provides answers, because we need to ask deeper questions along the way. We'll receive deeper answers if we receive a more surface level question, such as, what am I having for breakfast? We may not receive a really deeper level answer. Yet if we ask a deeper question, such as, who am I? We may receive a deeper answer. And ultimately, we will receive a deeper answer. For example, all right. So thank you for popping on. Let me know if you're, a couple of you are here on the live stream. And if you have comments or questions, feel welcome to type them in. And if you don't, that's all right. Feel welcome to just say hello. And it's always fun to know where people are joining us from. So we've had people in the past week from Pakistan, from Arizona, from Maui, tuning in from California, Canada, and Europe, all parts of the world. So that's always a lot of fun to see who's hopping on live. Again, it's part of our 21st century technology. And one of the reasons that we're so fortunate in today's day and age to be able to just turn on a device, turn on a microphone, a computer screen, and connect with each other. Yeah. I mean, 30 years ago, even, we weren't able to do that to the same extent. So it's very cool. It's very cool. And again, it's my delight and pleasure to be here with you today. All right, so let's talk about the special focus of the day. Now, I've made a decision, no pun intended, that I want to talk about decision and the power of decision on the spiritual path. Now, what I'm about to say about decision can apply to any aspect of life. So you may be facing certain situations and certain challenges in your life right now. They may not have anything to do with spirituality on the surface, but I promise you they all have to do with spirituality deep down. We could have issues that are financial in the world. We could have issues with our physical health. We could have issues with our career, with our job or lack thereof, right? Or confusion about where to go next. Yeah, we could have issues with our personal relationships, whether that is our partner or whether that is our kids, our parents, friends, colleagues, coworkers, maybe our evil supervisor at work. I don't know, right? We could have all kinds of issues, and we're faced with what appear to be dozens and dozens of choices every day. In fact, it's more than dozens because there are 24 hours in the day. So I'm not even going to attempt to do the math on how many seconds that is, but every moment is an opportunity for us to choose. It's an opportunity for us to make a decision. And that free will has never been taken from us, even though sometimes you may feel disempowered, and it may feel as though this free will has vacated us and is never coming back. That's actually not the case. One of the reasons why spiritual practice involves rituals and practices like prayer, like meditation, is that they help us chill out. We make ourselves nervous in the world. Now, you may not consider yourself a very nervous or an anxious person, or maybe you do, but we make ourselves nervous in the world by fretting about what is to come. In any walk of life, we fret about what may or may not happen in the future, and we beat ourselves up and rehash the past. We beat ourselves up over something that we did or didn't do in the past, that we would have, could have, should have done. Pretty disempowering language, isn't it? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah. All of these activities, which we're habituated to by being here, lead us away from the present moment. And this is where the power of decision lies. So let's take an example in work, in the work world. Let's say whether you are an entrepreneur, as I am, or not, let's just use this as an example. If you are, great, you'll relate to this for sure. If you are not, let's say you have a conventional job, or you don't have work and you're considering starting something on your own, right? Whatever your situation is, if you do not make a decision to do it, what happens? You lack commitment, for one. You lack clarity. You lack focus. Yeah. This is the state that many of us find ourselves in, where we dabble, where we just kind of peer around the surface. It's like spying on someone's Facebook page. And we hesitate to contact somebody for a service or a product or a conversation that we know we really, really, really need. And we can feel it. And every bit of our gut and our system and our mind is just aching to have that conversation. And we just kind of hang out and watch. This is the place where people get organized, right? I'm getting organized to do something. Are you doing it? No, I'm getting organized to do it, right? With a decision, you have clarity, you have action. And that's what this is about. The spiritual path is, in fact, about action and decision. One of the things that I love about A Course in Miracles is it gives us something to do. The workbook exercises that we're going through here on this live stream that you can go through at your own pace anytime. Doesn't matter that we're on lesson 165 for tomorrow. Doesn't make any difference. Start where you are, right? You can go through this at your own pace. The course is a self-study curriculum. You go literally at your own pace. Take what you want to take right now. And you may find yourself ready to dive into it full bore, and that's amazing. This has been an amazing part of my own life. It has been the centerpiece of my spiritual practice for the last 8 years. And I can tell you with 100% certainty that spirituality, spiritual growth, spiritual practice, awakening has been the only thing that I've ever really cared about in this lifetime. That is the deepest thing in my life. And it's the deepest thing that there actually is. Now, I know that you feel this in some way, maybe not to the degree that I do, and that's okay. But you're watching Enlightened World Network when you could be watching anything else. I mean, really, there are a lot of phenomena out there, aren't there? There's a lot of stuff, a lot of drivel, a lot of fluff. Let's insert another noun. Yeah, a noun that I'm not going to utter here. It starts with an S. There's a lot of it on social media, is there not? There's a lot of it on YouTube. Drivel fluff. You could be watching some of that and utterly wasting your time, right? Devoting your time to that, yet you're watching this. Why? Spirituality is important to you and it matters to you. So good, good. This is good. Decision is just as important in spiritual practice as it is in any walk of life. Now, in my own professional work, I lean quite heavily on the word decide. In fact, I wrote a book 2 years ago, published, it was my very first book, that was entitled Decide. In fact, it was so central to the overall premise of the work that that is what I entitled it, Decide. It's critical. It's critical. Now, the genesis of this came from my teaching meditation at a friend's yoga studio up in Oregon. This was 3 years ago. And I had been meditating for 30 plus years at that point in time. I actually started a personal meditation practice when I was in high school back in the 1980s. And if you're doing the math on how old I am, well, I'm 49 and 11 months exactly. So on the 20th of October, I'll be 50. Yeah, so circa 1985, I started a personal meditation practice, and I've been doing it ever since. Fast forward, 2018, I realized that I had all of this experience, and I felt a push, a divine push to start teaching. So I taught a basic meditation class at a friend's yoga studio, and it was well attended sometimes. I noticed that people brought all kinds of excuses in the form of limiting beliefs of I'm too busy, I can't, I'm not calm enough, I'm not old enough, right? I'm not old enough to meditate, really, right? I'm not young enough. We apply this to any aspect of your life. I mean, this is the context in which I thought about writing the book and then ultimately decided to do so is people bring all kinds of, in the context of meditation, reasons why they can't do it. Yeah, my mind moves too fast. No, I'm too anxious. Is that an empowering label to place on yourself? I thought not. All right. Yet we say these things to ourselves, don't we? We say them all the time. We have no idea how badly we're squashing ourselves. It's not other people that are doing the most damage to us. It's us. We're messing ourselves up with all of these beliefs. So I wrote a book about them. Everyone has time to do a meditation practice. A successful meditation can be as short as 1 in and out breath. Do you have time for that? You just did. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you just did. So that's what that was about. And it's about decision. When you make a decision on the spiritual path, you will find yourself accompanied by the ultimate authority, a lot of power. In fact, the only power that really is. Now, that is the power of God, source, the universe, call it whatever you want. Those are just words, by the way. Those are just words. The truth of who we really are is beyond language. And I talk, if you've seen this live stream, you will have heard me ad nauseum talk about the choice that we make in the present moment between love or fear. Now, a choice and a decision, if you want to call them the same thing, call those the exact same thing. We have a decision to make as to how we direct our minds, how we direct our entire being. Do we direct it in the service of love, or do we put out fear? Do we choose God or the ego, if you prefer? Do we choose life itself or death? If you feel more of a connection to that language, use that. This is the choice that we make every moment of every day. What happens when you decide for God? What happens when you decide in favor of love, in favor of your personal spiritual practice, in favor of awakening rather than staying asleep? Well, if you decide right now, in this moment, to extend love, what is going to happen? The next moment, it's going to feel differently. You're going to feel differently, and it will make it that much easier for you to continue to extend love in the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. What happens is that we gather momentum. Without a decision, we won't sit through the difficulties that will arise. We're in the process of awakening to the truth of who we really are, and the ego, quite naturally, does not wish for us to do this. You will, in your mind, come up with all kinds of reasons why you can't do your spiritual practice. In the workbook for students of A Course in Miracles, people come up with all kinds of reasons why they stop doing it. Oh, there's 365 lessons. I can't do all of that. Well, you do them one at a time. I've heard all kinds of reasons why people quit. Now, if you have a legitimate reason, such as, okay, this really doesn't resonate with me, I've tried it, and you can legitimately, truthfully say to yourself that you've given it a shot, great, right? There are many different spiritual practices out there. This is only one. It's only one of many. So we all have to find the tradition or traditions that speak to us. We're very fortunate in the 21st century in that they're all available to us. So in fact, there's no excuse for remaining on the sideline, but you're not on the sideline because you're watching Enlightened World Network. So My question for you is, what are you going to decide in the present moment? That will influence all of the next present moments going on and on and on. Because there is no future, right? Hasn't arrived yet. There's no past, it's gone. We have only the present moment. And as I said a couple of days ago on the live stream, what is true in the present moment, because there is only the present moment, is always true. What is patently false and an illusion in the present moment is therefore always patently false and an illusion. So of love or fear, only one is real, the other is not. And I invite you to consider which is real. And it is, in fact, love that is real. This is a choice, it's a decision. So when you make a decision, what happens in your life, whether you've done this in a relationship or business or your personal health journey, spirituality, anything, whatever it is, you show up differently. Why? You're not showing up as just ego self, little s. You're showing up with powerful forces and powerful guides with you. They're with you. You begin to speak from the ultimate authority. You show up with clarity and confidence. And by the way, in spiritual practice, one that shows up with conviction and clarity and confidence also shows up with love. It's the only thing that's real. We show up compassionately. We show up as more forgiving, with more laughter. I mean, we might remain intense people, but with a loving message and with a loving intent. This is what's available to you on the spiritual path. So I invite you to make that decision today. All right. And it looks like a couple of you are tuning in. Hello, thank you for tuning in here today. And it looks like Marlene and April are watching. And so Klaus Sifbis, do you go by Clau or Claudia? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but thank you so much for tuning in here today. If any of you or anyone watching or catching this on the replay has any questions or comments or would like to just pop in and say hello, feel welcome to do this. This has been a special focus of the day on A Course in Miracles 365. And tomorrow we're going to launch right back into the workbook for students where we're going, well, a day at a time. Because that's all we've got, right? I mean, you don't do all 365 lessons at once. It's one at a time, like breath. Yeah, like breath. All right, guys. So thank you all for tuning in today, and I will see you back here tomorrow.